Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another special presentation, moving full speed ahead, talking to amazing people from around the world, getting to know their stories, and coming to share them with you. It's journalism at its finest. We talk to anyone, we talk to everyone, and the stories are so amazing that I never want to stop doing it. Having said all of that, I have someone else very special that you need to meet. This person, we're going to start with the bad stuff first, the naughty stuff. This person is an OnlyFans and a Just for Fans content creator. He's a mental health advocate. He is a plant baby daddy and the host of a podcast called Padussy Podcast, where you can also follow him and subscribe to him on Twitter at PoppyGeoXX. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Poppy Geo. How you doing?
Ooh.
Right. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten there with you.
No, you good.
You know, you got to hit the applause button.
Right. No, you good. I am blessed, black, and highly favored. I'm in really good spirits today. Very happy to be sitting down and talking to you, Queen. So I'm happy to join the show. I'm excited to see what you're gonna pull out of me today.
Oh, well, it's not really a pull. It's not really a pull. It's gonna be a conversation. We're gonna discuss you. I'm going to discuss all your life and different things like that. We're not going to, no, listen, I ain't messy. I'm classy. So we're not going to go too deep into detail. We're just going to give them a little much, just a little bit, and then, follow you and look you up more.
Give them a little appetizer.
Yeah, just a little appetizer. So get this, I say appetizer. Now we're going to start with the biggest thing. So, appetizer, OnlyFans and Just for Fans. Content creator.
Oh, we jump into the meal. We jump into the full course meal right there. That's the meal, baby. That's the main course.
Okay, well, there's a reason why I said that.
I'm here for it.
The reason why I started right there is because I came across you on Twitter. That's how I found you, because see, I have one of those Twitters where it's a Twitter that I say in my bio section. Yes, it's the Queen of Shade. You've reached my page, but don't go over to my like section unless you got your parents' permission, because I will not censor myself. My likes are adult, and I am old enough to be able to do that. I'll be 40 next month. I'm old enough to be able to do that. So what happened was, period. And I was on Twitter and I was scrolling and I came across your content and I was like, I have to, this is not a dig to any other content creators out there, because I have interviewed a lot of them, but your content is fire.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Child,
your
thank you. Child, if I was white, I'd be blushing. Oh my God.
Like, I was like, oh my goodness, let me follow this person. And it was so funny because I followed you, and through Twitter, you had never even known who I was. I reached out to you and was like, hey, I have this little thing that I do these interviews. I've interviewed some other people that were content creators. I'd love to interview you. And you was like, sure. He's like, oh, well, I'm kind of busy right now. Let's maybe in the future, let me see what it's about. Let me see what you're about. And then I'll get back to you. Needless to say, you got back to me pretty fast.
And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. So go ahead. You can say it.
No, I was gonna say it was one of your posts that I saw on Instagram, because I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I followed you on Twitter or on Instagram, but then I eventually followed you on TikTok too. But it was an Instagram post you saw, and it was the name and it was the message that you gave about just being yourself, being your authentic self, and sharing your story. And you said some words to me that I live by, which is your story can really change somebody else's life. You never know who's listening, who's watching, and how it can impact them. And I was like, I need to be on that show because I'm moving into a space where I'm very open and transparent with my story. Although for myself, I feel like I've been doing this for a while. I actually have another podcast called Diary of a Mad Black Man,
Okay.
started in October of 2019. And that is Blake. My real name is Blake. So that was really Blake figuring out his mental health challenges, who he was as a man. A lot of things happened over the course of the past 3 years of me doing that podcast. Eventually, I became a content creator. So all of these things in my life were changing in kind of the background of Diary of a Mad Black Man. And so now that I'm really much more comfortable in myself, in my sexuality, and who I am, all aspects of me, I'm not afraid of the internet. I'm not afraid of somebody to see because you can't really use anything against me anymore because I put it out there. So yeah, I'm ready to get into this conversation more deep. So I'm just really excited to be here.
I'm glad. I am glad to hear that. Now, get this. Is your Wi-Fi connected? Because there was a little bit of a lag. You were like freezing.
My Wi-Fi is down right now and it's raining. Is it still?
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
well, get this. We heard all that you said, so that was good. It's just that the picture
Okay.
kind of froze, so it's gonna be okay. No need to panic.
Got you.
We're gonna be all
If
right.
it, I feel you. And that's one of the things that I'm learning and adjusting to in the podcast space, which is the video aspect. I'm an auditory guy. I love to listen. I don't need visuals. But as I transition and grow as a creator in all realms of life, video is something I'm getting used to. So it's okay as long as the message is gonna get through. I'm confident in that. However it looks, the message is gonna get through. So
All right. So now I'm gonna take you back to the beginning. Where was First of all, Blake is a beautiful name too. That's a
thank
beautiful
you.
that's a beautiful name. Um, that name has always been one that I admired. It just was always. I like names that start with B anyway. I changed my name to Bjorn because like back in like 2012 or I actually first started in 2006 calling myself Bjorn, but then I did the official name change because you know you got to pay for that. I did that in 2012. So I changed to Bjorn, but it was Kali before and it was my parents were crazy. So, you know, she was the goddess. Kali is the Hindu goddess of life and death and war. So, you know, I got all of that in me. Okay. I have all of
Okay.
like I've got all of that in me, but I needed something else. So I went with something Norwegian. And I loved Bjorn because of the double consonant, you know, right next to each other, the B and the J.
Mhm.
And then it means bear, like a real like bear. So that kind of is my personality as well, as far as my protection for young Black and Latin men of melanin. I am a very, very big protector, especially when it comes to those of us that are in the entertainment industry, because what I have encountered in my 30 plus years, 20 formally in the entertainment industry, but I'll be 40 in September. So it's been a long time. But I know what it's like to have my babies. And I call them my babies, my Black and my Latin men, be so beautiful and just have all different kinds of looks and all this beauty and beautiful bodies, and then have other people, usually of the same complexion or diaspora, try to take advantage of them, you know,
Mm.
offer them opportunity up front, but then it's kind of tied to something. So when they reach for it, it's like, oh, but you got to do something for me first. And
Mm.
that tends to be very sexual. And that is why I started doing what I'm doing, because you know I'm not trans, I'm a cross dresser. I've always been a cross dresser since I was 8 years old, but I've always been very effeminate. So my effeminacy actually saved me a lot of times when I was like early in entertainment, because everybody, the photographers, everybody, the casting directors, the agencies, they wanted masculine presenting men. So because I was not masculine presenting in person, but because models can do that to you. I took a picture and you would see my masculinity. But when you got me in person and I moved and I'm graceful and I'm talking to you, and they didn't see a man. So that very often kept me safe. But
Mm.
my friends, because I have a lot of men around me that are masculine presenting. Well, you just reminded me, thank you, because I got water with lemon. But I have men around me that are very masculine presenting, and I've had them for years. Like I started this whole support of Black men in 2003. And some of them I still support today. I had a very famous man by the name of Garen Jones come on and thank me for 15 years of supporting him. I met him on MySpace. So, but
nice.
Yeah, but the thing is, those are the men that the industry raped, accosted, molested, belittled, and ravished. And I got sick and tired of hearing the horror stories. So for me, I knew what I had to do. I had to gain the confidence in myself to be this bitch right here. And then she came out into the world and she did exactly what she did. She became an icon. And now her light is large. And she shines that light on especially Black and Latin men because it's kind of a protection. Once you've graced this camera, the rest of those men that would do that to you, they kind of back off because they don't want to hear from me. Okay?
I like that I'm protected.
Yeah, you're protected. That's what, you know, when I was younger, I wanted fame, but it had no reason. Now my fame allows me to be able to spread this light and protect every single baby. And I don't mean babies, you know, some are 30, some are 40, but they're still Black men. And, you know, I feel a connection, and Black men haven't always treated me the best in my life. I was bullied very much so by Black men all of my life, to where my grandmother had to move me from the city, inner city, out to the suburbs to basically save my life. I was being hit in the head with rocks and they're trying to kill me. Little did they know. But I mean, isn't that the story of everything? Little did they know that they were killing their salvation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's interesting growing up. I'm 32. I'll be 33 in February.
Okay.
And when I was coming into the awareness of the world, this idea of identity and who you are was really given to you. You didn't get the opportunity to create your own. And this was even like 10, 15 years ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Yep.
And around the time that I was finishing my undergraduate degree and transitioning into graduate school, it was during the time that the Supreme Court made the decision to allow same-sex couples to be married. And there was this whole movement of acceptance of the LGBTQ plus community as a whole.
Yeah.
And so for someone like myself, who's always been, I like to say, I've always been somewhere on the queer spectrum. You know, some days I'm over here, some days I'm over here. But now, if you really ask me, I'll say I'm queer, I'm pansexual and curious, because I'm very much a sapiosexual. I'm connected to, I like the intellect within another person I can connect with. But I'm also very big on energy. And there are some energies that I've come across, whether it's just on social media or in real life, where it's like, wow, I'm attracted to you.
Yeah.
And I've evolved in my attraction to know that an attraction to somebody isn't always sexual.
Right.
Sometimes it is just, you are a good energy. You're a good soul. Like how I really connected with you. I was like, this is some good energy. I need to connect with this because I felt it, and you feel it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when, like myself, I was bullied, but I was also a bully too. And I think a lot of times, actually, I'll say the majority of the time, when we become adults, we tend to try to leave our childhood as a thing in the past, not realizing that's our foundation that we stand on as an adult. So if you had a lot of trauma, a lot of negative experiences throughout those foundational years, as an adult, you're standing on a weak foundation. And I am one of those people. I'm happy to say that, but I'm also happy to say that I've been through a lot of therapy. I've healed. I've sat with myself. I've sat with my emotions. I've sat with my trauma. I've sat with who Blake is. And because I did that is how Papi Gio was born, and how I'm able to have this new persona and energy that I carry with myself, because it's a newfound love for self and a new acceptance of self. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think a lot of us have gone through those things and we try to hide from them. And I use myself as an example. it wasn't until I started to sit and face these things that I realized that yes, these things shaped who I am, but they are not who I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, you said a lot of really good, relevant things, and I'm like one of those people where I want to rewind, but I can't rewind until it's over because we got to go ahead. But no, but one of those things that you said I was bullied, but then I was a bully in therapy because I too have done the therapy. I've been in therapy for almost 17 years. I had to take medicine because I live with bipolar 1, PTSD from my childhood, and acute anxiety disorder. So it's why I work the way that I do. It's usually within this space, and I travel privately and secretively. And because, I am one of those vessels of light, I'm an angel of light. So when you're an angel of light, a lot of people draw to you. And I have no problem with that, because, that's what my purpose is. It's to give you, but I like that you said that you learned how to sit with yourself and be with yourself and understand yourself, and that you've also had the therapy, because see, that's something that a lot of Black men, let's start there. Let's
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Let's start there. A lot of Black men don't have the opportunity, and I love it because you said this, they don't have the opportunity to do so. Mm-hmm. And it's a sad thing because the communities that they belong to see them a certain way and only want to see them that way. They don't want to see them become, soft. And that's the word, soft. And, I'm gonna use some of the hood words, pussy or, fag. They don't want to see their men become these things. And it is an immediate expulsion from the community. It is an immediate sever of all ties if you are discovered. And and I use the word discovered because in my life I never had a boyfriend until now, but I played with men that were predominantly masculine presenting. So a lot of those men, they were hidden. They had to be hidden. And I used to get a little flack. I got a little flack for that because people were like, "Oh, you like the DL trade and you like this and it's like, no, baby, I don't. It's just that being an evolved being myself, I understood what they needed. I understood. So it wasn't, see, my compassion is set up differently. I don't think like man, I think more like the divine. So my compassion is, and therapy taught me this. A lot of times we look at the what of the thing. It's always, well, look what he did and look how he did it. And he hurt him or he hurt her and he left her and his kids. He's a fag now. But we don't look at the why. And you hit something on the head. A lot of these men, and I'm going to say this, a lot of Black men in general, it's not just gay. They're pan. They're pan. They like everything. And they want to be able to explore everything. I like women. I don't publicize it, but I do. I love Black women. Black women to me are some of the most beautiful women, and their skin tones and their colors. I watch heterosexual porn. I do. I love watching a woman and what she says to the man, because see, women have power. A lot of people would say to me, "Oh, you want to be a woman?" No, this is just how the Queen of Shade shows up. I'm a cross-dresser. This is how she shows up. But I will tell you, I will be the first and foremost, number one person to tell you I'm not a woman. Women have something, there's something special, there's something sacred about a woman, especially a Black woman. And get this, I say woman, I mean trans as well. They're all women. I mean all of them. There's something sacred about the woman, because the woman, she's the one that sows the seeds into the minds of men that grow. So it's kind of sad because a lot of men, and I got to go there because I just praised them, but look at this. A lot of Black men that grow up and they are homophobic, it's because their mother said, "Stop crying. Girls cry. Don't act like that. You're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to be a man." Black women did that. So in the same space that I praise them, there's an accountability that they must take, because they teach their sons to be homophobic. They teach their sons to be hypermasculine. They teach their sons to be misogynistic. And then when they grow up and they damage other women, it's, "Oh, we got these no good men." No, honey. Y'all did that. Y'all just reaping the rewards of the fruit and the seeds that you planted.
Mm.
Okay. So, okay. You look like you want to say, like, do you want to say something?
Listen, because you said a lot.
Okay.
I am. What's coming to my mind to say is I was once one of those men. I was once one of those
Explain
men
that a
that
little
was.
bit. Yeah, explain that a little bit.
I didn't want no kind of switch in my walk. I didn't want to show my feminine side. I didn't want to show my emotional side. I didn't want to cry. Like all these things that are traditionally taught in the Black community, I was and I still am and I'm still working through.
Yeah.
And as I've evolved into my being, how I'm able to say I'm queer and pansexual is because I am now giving myself the freedom to say that and to be that. Just because I say that doesn't mean that that's all that I am either. This is just a term that I'm using right now to give you an idea of who I am. Because really, you cannot. I find it very difficult to really even write or express all of who I am because it's not really possible because I am such a divine being and I understand that now. I've also found that since becoming a content creator and accepting that I am a part of this community of gay Black men specifically, I realized how many of us need healing as well, how many of us need therapy as well. But also, I want to hit on the point that you said a lot of us don't necessarily have that opportunity. It's not that we're not willing or we're not able, it's just that the opportunity hasn't presented itself. A lot of us don't look at therapy or healing or sitting with your emotions or really unpacking your childhood wounds and traumas as a good thing because it hurts. It's not fun, it's not easy. I'll share this too. I found out I was bipolar type 2 when I was like 20, 21, 22 years old. And it wasn't until October of last year that I finally got medicated. It wasn't until about 4 years ago when I had a huge mental breakdown as I was teaching. I was dealing with depression. The suicide ideation really crept in. And I found myself in a very dark space of not wanting to be here, not wanting to exist, because all the things that we just spoke about are not only things that our family or our mothers tell us, but this is what society tells us. Yeah. This is what the world says. This is how a Black man is supposed to be. You're only really allowed to show two emotions, which is anger and happiness. That sad shit over there, get that sissy stuff over here. Don't nobody want to see that. You know what I'm saying? But now I see myself in my story as being a way to help others, to give other people the courage to say, hey, I don't have it all together, and that's okay. Or, hey, I don't fully understand my sexuality, so I'm going to just say I'm queer for the sake of conversation right now until I really figure this thing out. And I also know that a lot of times when I was growing up, the age, like the benchmark age of 30, was like the age that you had to have it all together. You had to have your career, your house, your money, your 401k. If you ain't have a car and if you ain't got none of that shit, you're a bum and you're less than. And I myself, I've been talking to a lot of my friends lately as I'm going through my own personal situation. I'll tell people like, look, I might end up broke. I might be broke sometimes, but I'm not a bum. Yeah. Okay, there's a difference. Yeah. Anybody can end up broke. Yep. The most richest, famous, creative, skilled person can end up broke. But that's just a circumstance. And when I say bum, I mean somebody who accepts their circumstance. Somebody who accepts the fact that they're broken, they can't do nothing. That's how I came into content creation. I was broke, I was homeless, it was the pandemic, and I'm hearing about these guys that are very attractive, these guys I'm already sleeping with. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Guys I'm already making videos with, making all this money. And I'm like, let me go ahead and see what this is about and see what it does and see what it's giving. And as you see, it gave what it was supposed to have gave. Yeah. And I realized too that by building this platform, I knew this was probably around the time when I had like 15, 20,000 followers. I was like, I'm really gaining a following. People are really paying attention to Geo. Geo is also so much more than the sex that you see me having on camera. Geo is an intellectual. Geo is a sociologist. He's an anthropologist. He's also a 9-year career educator. Geo has a master's degree. Geo has traveled the world. Geo loves to cook. Gio loves to read. There's so many other aspects of who I am. And I also began to notice that with the other man that I was connecting with. Yeah. When I got to give my guy Trap, Understand Trap, a shout out, because he was one of the first guys that I really connected with, not on like some, oh, this is my boyfriend or where, content creator, but it's just like he is another Black man who is living a similar experience. And he's supportive, he's kind, he's helpful, he's giving me advice. All these characteristics that society wants to see in a Black man, he has. Mm-hmm. And so as I started to do that, it was like, as I started to meet more people, I began to find more guys that were very similar to me. This isn't their only thing they do. This isn't all that they are. Right. And so I just found it, I found the opportunity to really just share that. And that's why I created the Paducey podcast, where I too interview content creators to learn more about their story and their lives and who they are. And the first season of the podcast is almost done. And I'm one of those people, I like to build as I create. Yeah. So as I've been building this platform and already publishing and putting it out, I've realized that, wow, people are also going to listen to me too. People are going to listen to this podcast. This podcast was the #1 trending podcast in the category of sexuality in Trinidad and Barbados, as well as, Trinidad and Barbados. So those are the two countries. And I was just like floored, like, wow, people really are interested in what I have to say. And that was another realization for me, that my story, my trauma, what I've been through, who I am, it's for the world. It's not even for me anymore. Once I share it, it's out there. And I have this saying that I believe your story is a survival guide to humanity. Yeah. And your story of perseverance and overcoming will be a survival guide to someone else. Yes. And so that's why I've been sitting with myself a lot lately. I intentionally got up this morning. Just why when I woke up, I was like, oh, I hope I do. And right after I sent the text, I was like, oh, I just texted her like 4:00 in the morning. I hope that wasn't disrespectful, because I know you mentioned you had a boyfriend. I was like, oh, it's just about the podcast. But I was like, that's how eager and excited I was to be like, no, we're not canceling this interview. We're doing this interview because I feel that this is a part of my calling now. Yeah. Because I've had people reach out and express their appreciation for it. And it's not something I'm looking to necessarily receive a monetary reward for. I'm more the intrinsic, what the non-tangible can do, because I know I've been through a lot. Like I said, I'm bipolar. I've dealt with depression, suicide ideation. I've attempted. I mean, just as of a couple of weeks ago, I had a episode, which was kind of shocking because it was the first major one I've had since being medicated. But I got to push through this. Yeah. Because I'm built for this. I'm able to work through it however it looks, however it comes out. Not that I'm trying to not be, tacky and just classless with it, but this is my life, and I have to stop comparing myself to other people and understand that we all have our journeys. We all have things we go through, and I'm looking forward to really growing and expanding to show other Black men, other men who are questioning their sexuality, women who may have a son or a family member who's questioning their sexuality. Like, there's so many different people in the world, and you never know how this story can hit and how it can help. So, that's what's on my heart right now.
It's kind of funny what you were saying as you were saying it, because I'm going to share something with you. I was speaking to my boyfriend last night, and even with all
power off.
Power off. What happened?
Sorry, that was my speaker.
Oh, okay.
My Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, I was like, what happened? I
thought no, we still here. We still connected.
All right. Don't scare me like that. I was going to go into a deep place, and then I was like, all right. No, but I was speaking to my boyfriend last night, and what you said is amazing, because I've been in therapy and on medication for almost 17. It's 16 and some change. It'll be 17, probably the end of this. Oh, wait, August. Oh, yeah, 17 years. And I was the type of person where I had never been to therapy before, the first time going. And when I went in and realized that the space was a safe space where I could talk and the other person listen, and then eventually like just kind of give me just little roadmaps and tools and things, I was all for it. And what I'm saying here is, a lot of people go in and I don't want to talk to nobody about this, that, and the other. What they don't understand is you go to therapy for yourself. you're in there talking to yourself. The other person is a trained professional, but they're there to basically help you through the conversation that you're having with yourself. And a lot of people don't understand that about therapy. So, in understanding that about therapy, I was given specific tools. I've had to work those tools over 16 years. And as I said to my boyfriend last night, I still have suicidal thoughts. I haven't been hospitalized in 16 years, but I still have the ideations. I still have the lows. I still have the moments where I feel like, and where everything is going right. And I just want to take all my medicine and get into bed and be no more. And this is it. And this is who I am. And I'm this shiny beacon of light. And what I said to my boyfriend was, but there's no cause for alarm. And he didn't say anything. He listened. I said, because I've been given tools. And those tools save my life every time. And I work those tools every time I get like this. I'll be fine. I said the suicidal thoughts keep coming, but I never act on them because my tools help me to counteract action and behavior. Yes. And he said to me, he said, I applaud you for being able to work your tools. He said, that's a lot of responsibility that you take for yourself on yourself. And yes, I said, then I also said to him, I said, how I came to entertainment was kind of like a second nature. It was like a second chance at life, because I was going to be a doctor. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I was in school for biology, pre-veterinary medicine. I was doing a really good job. I was a leader of the gospel choir and just all kinds of things at my university second year. And then triggers started to happen. I tried to pledge a fraternity, and I didn't know. See, I thought I was doing the right thing. My grandmother sent me the money to be able to do it. And I was all gung-ho about it until they started the hazing and the hitting. And little did I know, because of my abusive childhood, it put me in a place. And back then, I couldn't handle it. And if you know anything about the Greeks, I was the tail. I was the tallest. The tail always takes it the worst. So that's a little fraternity. But the tallest one, the tail, is the one that has to hold everybody else together. And they get beat the worst. So I remember being online, and I remember the football player standing next to me, who was shorter than I am, but bigger than I am, saying to our brothers, no, big brother, let me take it for him. Let me take it for him. But I had an abusive childhood. So that, and then being gay and being head of the gospel choir, and then coming into a situation where I grew up in the suburbs. There were Blacks around us, but not that many. And then I chose to go to a school myself. I chose my school because I wanted more of a Black experience. I was ready for that. I had a more mixed experience throughout my high school and middle school years. So I was ready to have a Black experience. So I chose a school that was still a state school, but not necessarily, there was more of a Black presence there. They tried to eat me alive. Things about myself that should have been positive, like my smile and never needing braces and taking care of my lips and always having my moisture for my lips and things like that, became butts of jokes. Oh, we're going to call you Colgate. You got that big old smile. And you look like you're wearing chicken grease on your lips. And, just and then even I grew up in a small place called Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. And I remember even the Christians, Blacks, Willow Grove, what the hell is that? What's a Willow Grove? Like they made fun of me for the things that were actually good. Like they were actually good things about me. They turned against me. So I remember I just couldn't take it. I didn't know I couldn't take it. I was 19. I was 19 when I was diagnosed. I didn't know I couldn't take it. But the point of the matter, and why I'm saying this and going this way, is our community, it's about time that we just kind of, as Black people, use our heads. The boy is gay. You see that he's gay. The world is already going to make it hard for him. Why do you have to make it hard for him? It's time for mothers. It's time for fathers to step up and say, this is the child I birthed, I brought into this world. So I'm not going to put him out and he's homeless. I went through that, you know, and and it's a crazy thing. And get this, I always tell this story, Gio, because my mother, her two sisters, her two brothers, gay and lesbian.
Oh.
So you would have thought me coming into it as the firstborn grandson, showing effeminacy, that it would be okay because they would show me the ropes. No, they teased me. They talked about me. It was always, I was the butt of a joke. I was the whore. I was this, I was that. While I was young, I hadn't even done anything. I had uncles, one uncle telling people that I was going to get HIV and die. I wasn't even 14. You know? And and the reason why I'm bringing this out in this interview is because it's not what was done to me. It was what was planted. It was what was planted. And see, the thing about planting, whether you are a farmer or not, that thing
Or
is going
plant
to
daddy.
right? Plant dad or a plant daddy, is that seed is going to take root. And the root system is going to grow and expand. And what they don't understand is if you need a likeness to the roots of a plant or a tree, think about it as the human body's nervous system. That's how the roots are. They become a part of everything and they fortify everything. Synapses and everything, they grow, and there's not one portion of your being that doesn't have nerve endings in it. So if you breed self-hatred in a child, and that was done to me through church and all of those things, that child grows up and I wanted to die. Get this, I actually had the first manic episode and mental breakdown in college because of religion. I said, okay, clearly I can't do away with these feelings and emotions because they never ask this or say this about us. But when we go through puberty, even being gay, our hormones are out of control.
Out of control.
We experience the same hormonal shift as every other boy. We want sex just as much as every other boy. So in that shift and realizing, I said, okay, I made it to college. I'm a virgin. I decided I was going to serve God. I had to get rid of it. What did religion say? These things come out only by fasting and praying. So I said, I'm not going to eat and I'm going to pray until I am not gay anymore. I wouldn't put anything in my mouth, nothing. I fasted and I prayed an entire semester. When you saw me, I looked like a bag of bones. My advisor, she said to me, baby, you need to put the Bible down. It's killing you. And I'm like, God, no, the Bible says these things come out by fasting and praying. And I almost died. And upon being hospitalized and medically withdrawn, that same advisor said to me, sweetheart, I hope you realize now that the Bible is not as literal as it is made to believe, as we are made to believe that it is. It's not, no, it's not that. And I realized that. And in realizing that, I realized, okay, that didn't work. So I need to fortify my own relationship with the divine. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to put this book down because it was one I always loved. I can quote it from cover to cover. And I had to find my own way. But that was the divine's purpose. You tried it their way. Not going to work.
Didn't work.
I had to forge my own way. Now, segueing right there, because we know my story, I'm publicized, it's out there. You stated something early that I want to bring light and emphasis to. because it dispels a belief about sex workers. You have degrees, a bachelor's and a master's. You taught, you have, quote unquote, the higher education. You got it.
Yeah.
I need people to understand that you, just like anybody else, many of these babies went to school, many of these babies have college education. The thing is, they choose the particular work that they want to do because they're creative. They, like you said, we're born to it. I believe that people that are very sexual and sexually inclined, you're born that way. You're born that
This listen, I definitely know now that I was born this way.
Yeah.
I've always been a very sexual person.
Mm-hmm.
But even sex in society is like those, it's like that little secret. The one thing that's got us all here, nobody talks about.
Uh-huh.
I tell people all the time, I was like, the world and society and people not talking about sex is the equivalent to us never discussing breathing. Because it's the one thing that makes sure we're going to continue to be here.
Yeah.
And I just found myself on this journey of being a sex worker and doing OnlyFans, that I would do the content, I would make the content, and I would put it out, but I always wanted to give more of myself. I always wanted to showcase more of who I am. And that's the reason why I created the podcast, why I'm doing this interview and these things like this, because I know that we're in an era of existence on this planet where there's a huge shift happening in society. I said this the other day in the Twitter space. I said the world, in my opinion, has changed more in the past 3 years than it has in the past 30 years. Right. And human beings are still out here trying to figure out what this new world is, because the way people move, the way we eat, the way we live, the way we work, the way we communicate has completely changed. I mean, the majority of the things that we do are virtual right now, which 4 years ago, I was in my principal's office and she's telling me I'm using too much technology in the classroom. So now that I'm in this lane of being a sex worker, a content creator, I really just like to consider myself an overall entrepreneur. Yes. I'm getting it by any means necessary. Yes. And I've always had this vision for my life to be this big, grand life on private jets. I'm going to have a G-Wagon one day. But I also know that all of those material things outside of myself really don't have the value that I've now found within myself. And so I've shifted to now want the freedom and the autonomy over my life that comes with being a sex worker or an entrepreneur, because it's given me the space to heal myself. It's given me the space to really deal with my mental health challenges. It's given me the space to find community with like-minded people who understand. And at this point, it's like there's no going back. Right. This thing is going to grow. The seed has been planted. It's going to grow. It's going to expand. I'm not 100% sure how big or grandiose, or if this thing will start dropping fruits or something one day. But I'm going to keep watering. I'm going to keep planting and keep taking it one day at a time, because I know that my experiences are divine order. Yes. And I found myself like, honestly, like I haven't shared this with anybody, not even close friends, but a couple of weeks ago, I found myself deleting all my content on Twitter, having a really serious mental breakdown. Like, why are you doing this? You have these degrees, you have all this stuff. Why are you doing this stuff? Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? And it was in the days after that I was really able to sit with myself and understand that, hey, you're having a moment. That's first. You're definitely having a moment right now. Like, yes. Let's get it together. Yes. But then it's also like, this is a amazing opportunity that you have. And this idea was given to me. Yeah. This idea was given to me. Yep. So why would I run from it? Why would I ignore this gift that I have to create, to speak, to curate conversations around sex, mental health, sexuality, around how we're moving out here in the streets, especially these ATL streets. I don't know if you know about Atlanta, but there's maybe been another episode. Yeah. But I really now see myself on the other side of that breakdown, the other side of having very public like breakdown on my through my content creation that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have this moment. People are still going to accept you. Can always come back. I mean, porn has been around since. I mean, the idea. I took this class in graduate school when I studied abroad on the history of pornography in society, and it talked about how nudity and sexual images were created and deemed deviant. I believe it was primarily through the French Revolution to try to change people's mindset on how they viewed the king and how they viewed the people in power.
Yeah.
And so now I see myself being a content creator, being somebody who I have this huge platform. People like me because I'm sexy, because they see me have sex, because they know I'm a sex worker. But now that I've got you in, let's talk about some things. Let's do some things. Let's have some events. So that's what I am most excited about in my life right now is the opportunity that I've created for myself to live a lifestyle that I want to live. I got laid off, I got fired from my job back in June. Yeah. And at first it was kind of like this panic because that was my main source of income. It was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Yeah. And literally I was sitting there last night when I got back just came back from out of town. I was on the plane. I was like, you are living a life that people would dream of.
Yep.
I haven't clocked into a job in months. I ain't missed no meals. Mm-hmm. My lights are still on. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm still here. I still have opportunities. So now I'm really settling into a space of moving for the value that it's going to add to the inside of me versus trying to move in a way that's going to add value to the outside of me. Because that was something that it was one of the things that really hindered me in the podcast space and just being a podcast. It's like, I'm not really making a lot of money off of this. I'm not really able to sustain myself with this. But then I sat back and I realized, well, you're changing lives. Mm-hmm. These emails that you're getting from these random people, random guys in Nigeria, and different countries in Africa, where they will literally kill you and put you in jail for the way you are just living your everyday life. Mm-hmm. And so it was a moment for me this is also a moment for me to really accept and realize where I am and where I'm going, because it's not about being the best content creator with the most views, most likes, most OnlyFans money. I need to stick to the mission that's within me, which is I want to share my story. My story has power and it's going to change lives, because we've said it so many times. There's so many black men who are on the queer spectrum, and even black women who are on the queer spectrum who struggle with their sexuality, who struggle with who they are. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of people outside of people who've had that experience, understand what it's like to be alive, but not like the person.
Right.
To be alive and feel a way, but not be able to express that because of what the world's going to say, because of what the world might do to you. Mm-hmm. And it takes a special person, a special one of us to really move forward past that, because unfortunately a lot of us do take ourselves out of here. A lot of us do still hide in the closets, in the shadows. Even in 2022, you would think that it would be easy for guys just to be like, hey, I'm gay, I'm this, I'm whatever, and it's not that at all. So I'm understanding my position in the world, understanding my position as a sex worker, as a content creator, as a black man living in America, and the opportunity that I have to really still do what I do, because I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, you've seen the content. Yeah. But I've also see this as an opportunity where I can really expand and still fulfill some of those inner passions and dreams that I have, which is to help people, which is to share stories and to encourage people to go to therapy and go to the clinic and get tested regularly, and to talk about all the things that society doesn't want us to talk about, because it's healing. And there's one thing that's a dangerous thing. I want to say, who said this? I'm not even going to try and quote that person, but the most dangerous thing to America is a healed black man.
Yeah. A healed black man. You know, you said a lot there. And what I need people to understand about this all, first of all, keep your big dreams. And I hope you put your content back up. But the reason why I say this is because everything in life, this computer was someone's dream. The way that it functions was someone's dream. The earbuds in your ears were someone's dream. The shirt on your back, someone's dream. To wear your hair the way you do, to wear necklaces and this hair the way that I do, this bustier, these were someone's dream. And at that time, when they dreamt it, people told them they was crazy, or they was raunchy, or they was this, or they needed Jesus, or they needed this and the other. And if they had succumbed to the pressure, we wouldn't even be on this thing right now talking. You wouldn't be looking as beautiful as you do, me. Like, it wouldn't be. So what I want you to understand is, if you continue to give your all to your content, you will make it to the 6 and 7 figure mark. Why? Because you didn't quit. It's not rocket science. And then second of all, most people don't understand how to get to that level. Do you know what you do to get to that level? You promote. That means you spend your money on promotions. You got to put it everywhere that you can so that people see it. Promotion is how you enlarge your borders. That's how it is done. But the problem is, a lot of us don't want to accept the fact that you pay for promotion. It's not something that's just handed. It don't matter how cute we are. It don't matter how pretty, how sexy, how great our content is. Promotion has to be paid for. And that gets you out to more eyeballs, to more voices, to more people that will actually eventually buy a product. That's how it's done. You know, I've got a lot of content creators right now that are they're talking to me, and they're at their wits' end, because it's like, oh, well, I'm watching this person and they're making 6, 7 figures from this. Da, 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 da. But if you go look at that person's outfit, what are they doing? They're promoted. They went somewhere and got a huge amount of promotion. There's one young man that comes to mind, and I love him. He's heterosexual, but he went on like one of those shows on television, and they actually put him off because he was actually doing his sex work while he was on the show. Before he got on the show, he was already showing himself. So they put him off, but he was already on there, and he had already snatched the attention. He was already America's favorite. So he left the show, and it was very public how he left the show, but he didn't miss a beat. He continued, and he picked up and used that one instance of promotion to keep going. And his story is a deep one. I'm not going to tell his story, but I've watched him over the years be shut down on all social media, come back, have to start all over. And that's one thing I realized about him. He never quit. He would start over. He had, at one point, he had 3 or 4 Instagram accounts, because people was just going through, and literally they were so jealous of him because of how comfortable he was with himself. And he's Black. And they would just go through and report every single picture until they shut the page down. And I watched that happen to him for years. And then finally he came, I saw him post, and he said, finally, after all these years of just starting over, whenever somebody shut his shit down, he just immediately started over, or he'd try to get the old one back. He'd start a new one, and you would see him frustrated, because he would be like, you know, I do OnlyFans, and this is my customer base. You guys are cutting into my money now. Like, you hate me that much. You're cutting into my money. But he kept going. He finally just got his verification, blue check. And he said he's had so many different situations, and he has caught a lot of flack from the Black community. Oh, you know, because people will tell you, oh, OnlyFans, the patrons are usually male. Men, we patronize those settings. Women's will, but it's more of a men's setting. And a lot of our heterosexual brothers have been taking a lot of heat, and I watch because I've interviewed them, but they're taking a lot of heat because they are smart enough to realize that the demographic that they're speaking to or showing to are men. So then they learn, okay, I can't just be flashing schlong. I need to turn around and show this peach. I need to show them this ass. And that's what they end up doing. And then once they do that, you hear the women and all these other people, oh, he on there showing his ass. He's playing to his customers, the people that are putting money in his pocket.
People that are paying his bills.
Exactly. Get this. Back in, I want to say about 2007, 2008, I had the absolute pleasure of working in a female phone sex call center as a man. I was the only man there, but this voice, honey, this voice, like literally, if you ask what makes you your money, this voice, baby. She sings, she talks, and get it. I'm gonna go on with the story, but I made a post about this the other day. I used to get bullied so bad and beaten and chased home from school so bad because of this voice. This voice has been the same since I was a little boy. Even when puberty hit, it didn't change. And I said, all of those young men that beat me up, chased me home, and all of those things, I have one thing to say about them: they're broke. The thing that you hated about me has brought me all that I have. I haven't punched the clock in 16, 17 years. And it's been ups and downs, and I still have not had to go get a job. Okay, on with the story. So, yeah. Anyway, not even on with the story, but basically, we're out here, and the very things that make us unique, the very things that are going to put money in our pockets, society and our people say don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do.
Yeah.
How dare you want to take a shortcut? How dare you want to take an easy way? And they don't realize this shit ain't easy.
It sure ain't.
Like get this. I don't know why people think that you guys are having sex every day.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because
yeah. Go ahead.
I've realized, like I said, I've been in the streets for a little minute, you know what I'm saying? But once I became a content creator, I realized that people just think that you're just laying on your back or on your knees 24/7. Like, I gotta eat, I gotta sleep, I gotta take care of myself, I gotta exercise, I gotta clean my house, do laundry. Like, they don't see us as human beings. They see us as sexual objects.
Yep.
As sexual things. They see us as like the equivalent. We're like equivalent to dildos to some people. We're just a tool for sexual desire.
Yep.
And we're actually people. Like, yeah, we are sex workers, but I think a lot of times they neglect the fact that this is work.
Yeah.
You know, even somebody, and I'll say this too, when I first started, I thought that that's all it was really going to be about. You know, initially I didn't show my face. I didn't want to show my tattoos. I didn't want to reveal who I was. Then as I evolved and I eventually started to show myself, then that's when the woodworks of just all these people, and that's when my following took off. And it's like, people will be in my DMs like, hey, can I fuck you? Can I pay you some money to have sex with you? I was like, nothing against how anybody gets their money, but I'm not having sex for money.
Yeah.
That's not what this is about. And it kind of makes me think about other professions as well, because, for example, firefighters aren't out here fighting fires every day.
Right.
Police officers aren't out here trying to pull people over, give them tickets every single day. So it's like they view us as being these highly sexualized, hypersexual beings and neglect, intentionally or unintentionally, the fact that we're human beings too.
Yep.
That some of us are doing this to buy houses, to start businesses, to take care of families, to help our grandmothers, to send money back home or for whatever, you know what I'm saying? And these are the stories that a lot of content creators don't share because of the stigma that comes with it, because also a lot of porn stars, content creators, sex workers, they just don't talk a lot. And that's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards your platform. So I watched some of your interviews and it's like, wow, this guy is really dope outside of his content too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I see myself in that lane too, because I'm very much into destigmatizing.
Yep.
I've worked for the past 3 years on my podcast, Diary of a Mad Black, my first one, destigmatizing mental health. And I'm happy that I destigmatized it for myself. So I think a lot of times when we are perpetuating stigma, we don't realize that we've also internalized that stigma as well.
Yes.
And so I'm actively working to rid myself of the stigma of being a sex worker, of the stigma of having a mental disorder, of the stigma of being gay, being pan, being bisexual, trisexual, whatever, you know, whatever term I want to use on any given day, you know what I'm saying? There's work that requires it. There's energy that's required to do that. And I'm happy to be in a space where I'm much more comfortable than I was even just last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we don't allow ourselves room to grow, to evolve, and to change, and to think differently, and to behave differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm experiencing, and I'm happy to be sharing that with people. I'm happy to be sharing what it is that I do, because this is going to be not just the beginning, but it's going to be the beginning of a long journey, a journey that I'm not really too concerned with the destination.
Right.
I'm happy to be exploring, to be learning, and to let people know, like, yes, I do OnlyFans. Yes, I've done content creation, porn, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to have sex with any and everybody.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I'm waking up and first thing in my mind is having sex with somebody.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I don't want a relationship with somebody and I don't want to be loved and treated with affection and taken out for dinner and those things that we all, I'm not gonna say we all, but a lot of people really desire to have.
Right.
And so in doing this, I see myself as being able to do just that, which is destigmatize the shit and allow other people to say, hey, this might be for you, this might not be for you. Because I've also learned, which is kind of a little transition, that a lot of these guys that I've met so far in my journey as being a content creator are like early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of young content creators. You see these guys that have hundreds and 200,000 followers and they're making tons of $100,000 a year, $30,000 months. They're not even 30 years old.
Right.
So these men are very successful. They're doing great things. And I've learned that a lot of times that success in climbing that ladder to what people may deem as success, we neglect ourselves, we neglect our bodies, we neglect our traumas, we neglect our triggers, and we end up having this platform like how I was when I was a teacher. I'm double degree, state certified. I have a new house, new car, all that stuff. But on the inside, I was broken.
Yeah.
I was very depressed. I wanted to leave this earth. I didn't want to live anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy that my journey has been what it was because I came into what many people may classify as success very early in life in my collegiate career. But when I really hit the real world and I had to sit with myself a lot, is when I began to really see truly how broken I am. And that's my biggest thing. I'm always going to say that I'm a mental health advocate first. I want people to take care of their mental health first. I do feel confident saying that it's the most important aspect of our overall health complex because when you're healthy mentally, you're able to think clearly. You're able to make better decisions about what you're going to eat, when you're going to go to sleep, what you're going to do, versus when you're sad and depressed. Oh, I'm going to eat these chips and just lay down and go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're going to wake up the next day feeling like crap. You ate a whole bag of Cheetos before you went to bed and didn't drink no water.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So all these different things that I've learned about myself and how to care for myself, especially with my mental health challenges, I feel that it's a very unique thing to bring into the space of being a sex worker and a content creator. But I feel like this is my calling because why was this idea planted in me? Why did I go through all these things, therapy over the past 10 years, starting medications, going through the struggles of that, dealing with discrimination on the job because of my mental health condition, being pushed out of a job. You know what I'm saying? So these are all things that I've experienced, and I'm happy that I'm still here. I'm still alive. I don't care what the outside world looks like or what it presents to me because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I love who I am. And I'm constantly having to remind myself, which is a good thing, that you are also in a relationship with self.
Yep.
I need to wine and dine myself. I need to make myself feel good. I need to take care of myself. I need to love on me the same way that I would love on someone else. And that's the biggest thing that I'm a proponent of is having good energy, taking care of yourself and loving yourself. And sex is something that, again, we all do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watches porn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's taboo in society because if more people tapped into it, we'd have a lot more people out here free as can be on the spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say that and sip my water because the more people were comfortable with themselves and felt that they could confidently step into the world and present how they are on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta sip your water on that. Don't tell nobody's tea. No, but you know what? That was also another reason why I started doing these interviews because and the feedback was astronomically clear. They were like, "You're humanizing these men. You're humanizing them." You know, when you said they see us as like a dildo, it's so true. They only see people that, and get this, it's not just sex workers. anyone who is sexy. Anyone who is
Can we
sexy,
talk about it?
their minds automatically go to, I should be fulfilling your every desire. I've had men follow me. I've had men, like, literally, I've had to get cops on the street, like, excuse me, and it's just like, and now mind you, my sexual escapade, and this is the thing, I love how you said everybody does it, because everybody knows this. Everybody that watches me, I tell my team, one summer I slept with 85 men. One summer, 85 men. Was manic as hell. But I also realized I was searching for something. I was searching for something. Do you know what that was? I was searching for me.
Mm.
I was searching for me. I was searching for me. And then when I realized that and that was the crazy thing. That summer, I enjoyed myself. It was the first summer that I realized I was a feminine top, a blouse. Please, I didn't have to worry about cleaning out, none of that shit. I didn't have to worry about none of that because I wasn't the bottom. I made sure they was clean. I didn't have to worry about that, and it was so freeing to have. And you know what the crazy thing is, Jill, that summer, predominantly, most of those men, those 85 men, were masculine presenting. They were masculine presenting. They weren't feminine. They weren't even out gays. And I'm waxing them all over my living room. And then, what's so crazy? But this is, yeah. But the crazy thing is, after I realized, because I had to ask myself, what are you searching for? Oh, I'm searching for me. Then I went celibate. This August made 10 years of celibacy. Yeah. 10
That's
years.
a long time.
But get it, because I realized what I was looking for. And I found, Gio, I found her. I found her and him. I found them. How about that? My pronoun is queen. That's my universal pronoun. I don't care if I'm
I saw that.
Yeah, if I'm outside of this and you see me in a backwards cap and I'm walking down the street with a backpack on, you better call me queen, because I earned it. Queen. Right. Yeah, I'm not responding to shit else. You will address her and she wants to be addressed. Yes. But I find that in this humanization process that I continue to do, I love drawing the inference between me and the person, because people say, oh, you're so classy. Oh, you're so this, you're so that. Sweetheart, if you knew what society was doing behind their classy act, if you knew how raunchy, how provocative, you know what? I'm going to take your cue and move on.
Because, baby, let me tell you something.
Okay? All right.
I'm going to go ahead and say it.
No, don't you say nothing. Don't you say nothing. I don't want you to mess up your money.
Okay.
I don't want
you
you
right. I ain't going to say it. I ain't going to say it.
I know. How about this? I know plenty of sex workers, and these sex workers know celebrities. These sex workers know famous business people. These things, okay, boxers, and yeah, okay. So I know. So you ain't going to. This ain't death to Gio. This is talk to Gio. This is not death to Gio. Okay?
Listen, I respect all NDAs.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on.
So, but I'm so glad that you're in a better place than you were even last week, because we have those moments with mental health challenge, and mental illness that we need to really reprogram and recheck. And what people don't understand too, and a lot of people I talked to, they didn't even really know this, but mental illnesses and challenges are affected by the weather. If it's too hot, if it's too cold, get this. They didn't even realize, I realized it in therapy, the lack of money can trigger a manic episode, because people that have mental illness, they like to have access to a lot of provision, a lot of fortune. That they need to. It just works that way, because honestly, they need to be the type of people that can do whatever they want on the drop of a dime. Literally, because they need to be able to say, they wake up, I don't feel like doing anything today. And that might not last all day. That might last from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. But then they need to be able to move to what they need to do or what they want to do. I had a very famous motivational speaker tell me years ago, you need to live on a moment to moment basis. You are one of those people that one moment you're doing this and then the next moment you done hop the plane somewhere. And I thought he was crazy. I'm like, what? I'm like, there's no pattern. There's no consistency. You just moving around like the wind. And he said, no, you live on a moment to moment basis. Why would you fight what you already are? Why would you fight how you already are? I ain't never been a type of person. Listen, I never stayed more than 2 years on the job anyway, and then I was leaving. And I was leaving because my internal clock and mental illness was like, oh no, we got to get out of here. They're using us. It would literally trigger everything. Oh, they're using us. I got to get out of here. I don't do well that way. I don't do well in settings where someone else is telling me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I forged my own career.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about that all the time. I left. I walked away from it. Go ahead, baby. You want to say something? Go ahead.
You are literally like nail on head, nail on, or hammer on nail, like just boom, boom, boom. Because that is me. Like I realized that I am not a traditional guy. My lifestyle is not a White House, picket fence, 3 kids and a dog. That's not me. And once I accepted that, which is a new acceptance, probably like last six months to a year.
Yeah.
You are not the norm. You are not what the world has said that you're supposed to be. And that's okay.
It's okay.
Because guess what? There are more people out there just like you.
Yes.
There are plenty of people who don't work full-time jobs. There are plenty of people out there who don't wait on a direct deposit to be able to pay their bills. But guess what? Their bills still get paid. They still eat. They still living and they thriving.
Yeah.
And so I've been in this transitional phase, and I I've held myself back a lot. So over the past 3 years, I mean, especially since I started doing content, if I'd have really put myself out there like I know I could have, Poppy Gia will be a lot bigger than what he already is.
You still got time.
I always got time. Always will have time. And that's why I'm happy that I've regrounded myself, recentered myself, rebooted myself, reset, unplug out the wall. Let's get a full reboot because you're on a mission.
Yeah.
And this mission is not just to become a millionaire, to have the biggest house, the biggest car, the nicest clothes. The mission is to really spread more love and ultimately to encourage people to love themselves first. Because if you love yourself first, if you really, really love yourself, you're going to move in a way that shows it, because love is an action. Yeah. It's not something you just say or just talk about. Yeah. And when you really love yourself, you're going to want to get a full night's rest. You're going to want to drink good spring or alkaline water. You're going to want to eat healthy, balanced meals and things of that nature. So I'm excited to continue down this journey, but also to share more, because I know that there are so many other brothers just like myself who may feel like they're stuck spinning their wheels, but really you just got to stop. Sometimes you might need to stop and get out the car, and that may not be the car you ride in, so get out and walk. There's so many ways to move forward, and that's what I'm learning about myself, that regardless of what I'm going through, regardless of what I have dealing with, because I mean, behind this camera and outside of what I got going on, my life is like, what some may say, even I would say, it's a mess right now. You need to get your shit together. But I'm just like, it's always been a mess.
We always go through that, though. It's
okay to go through that.
Get this. It's a shedding. You know what's so crazy? My grandmother and my doctors, they call me the Phoenix. So does my boyfriend. I've been in so many different situations. There were many situations where it was time to tear down, burst into flames, and create something new. It was time. And get this. See, what they don't understand about creatives is we're all artists. Whatever vehicle, like you said, we're in, you're still an artist, and a consummate one. You're good at your art. We all have those moments and those years where our lives just aren't what we want them to be. They're not. But you know what I've learned? Hang on in there. Hang on in there. And in the time, if you can't do anything else for yourself, get you some alkaline water from the dollar store. buy you some good bananas from Walmart, you know, buy you a piece of salmon because it ain't too expensive, or you can get it in a can, but the can has high sodium. Be careful. But like literally, take care of you. Because honestly, you can't take care of no situation out here until you take care of you.
That part.
So like literally when something comes up and it is above my pay grade, I take I take care of me. I start beautifying and self-loving and doing me. And then that green light goes on and it's like, oh, you can move up now. And it's like, oh, well, oh, I got it. Okay. And take, and especially your mental health, I take care of me. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people get upset because I don't come out. I don't a lot because being what I am, shaman, oracle, prophet, seer, healer, light worker, I people tend to draw to me. And the thing is, when they draw to me to cast their cares upon me. I'm not Jesus. Don't cast your cares upon me. I'm just trying to get, do you see me? I'm just trying to get my water in this owl. I don't need you to come up to me and get it. It's not what they say, it's the energy they bring.
Mm-hmm.
They make a deposit even without saying. So I just out of spaces where you could just make a deposit without saying. Just, and
right.
I don't, I'm very, I like one thing about it in my family, you know, I don't talk to a lot of my family because, oh, he's a prima donna. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. But I watch y'all loathe yourselves for years. I've watched you cry and be angry and apologize for who you are for years. I'm not doing that. I'm going to love me. I've loved me from the beginning. I've loved me from the beginning. And get this, people say, oh, well, didn't you have, I had low self-esteem because I thought it wasn't the right thing to do. But when I went home at night with me, I loved me. I loved my voice. I loved my look, everything. And then eventually that became my job. It became my job. I got a podcast too I've been working on for 3 years called the Cyber Girl Podcast. She has about 215 episodes.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, I get it, all 30 minutes. Because you know what else, too? I wanted to say something to you. As creators, we don't really create for right then. It has to grow and accumulate and we create for later. So it's so funny. I do music, albums, everything out. And I tell people, those are my retirement holdings. That's my retirement. I'm still working with all of this. And it's so funny because all of your content, Gio, you own it. That's the part that a lot of people miss. That's why the world is having mental health challenges, because they go to work and they get up every single morning. They work all day. They come back home to eat and sleep and get up and do it again. Spend all their money on gas and they don't even own what they created. That's why I'm like, listen, that is a trap. That will put you to suicide quicker than anything in the world.
Okay. Because listen, because when I got pushed out of my teaching career, because, and I'll share this with you too, one of the straw that broke the camel's back that had me typing my letter of resignation and all the depression and everything I was dealing with. My grandmother passed away on my birthday in 2016, literally on my birthday. Her birthday is actually tomorrow, August 31st. And this was around Labor Day. I quit in November of 2018. But long story short, I was going to see doctors and psychiatrists, and I had a therapist that I had saw back home in Illinois in my so-called hometown of Springfield. And I went back to see her just to really check in with myself, like, yo,
yeah,
I've been gone for you for like 3-4 years, but I just need to come back and check in to see. And it wasn't until I went and spoke to her and was reassured.
Yeah,
you're okay. Your grandmother is no longer here, and that's a pain that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. I get back to Atlanta. Long story short, I was written up for an ethics violation. They thought I was falsifying attendance documents because I had out-of-state doctors I was seeing. And my assistant principal at the time looked across the table and looked me dead in my face and said, the death of your grandmother is not a good enough excuse to miss all this work. Literally let those words come out of her mouth. And it was in that moment that I knew this ain't for me. Because baby, the way I feel right now, I don't even want to be in this building. I didn't want to get in this car. You think I care about missing work? My rock, my world, my everything is no longer here. And I don't give a fuck if it was 2.5 years ago. I'm hurting now. That's what I'm dealing with now. And I'm doing my best to explain and get the help that I need. But it was in that moment that I realized too that it don't matter what your title is. It don't matter how big you are, how grand your life may be. If you start to move in a way that other people don't like, and your well-being, how you eat and take care of yourself is connected to that, when they're ready to cut you off, guess what else they're gonna cut off? Yeah. Your ability to live, your ability to take care of yourself, your ability to feed yourself, all those things are severed. Yep. And so going through that and realizing that I knew when I left teaching, it's one of the reasons why I haven't gone back. It's one of the reasons why I haven't really tried to utilize my degrees, because I know no matter what I do, if I'm going to work for somebody else, I really am not in control of my life. Why? And here's why I say that. That business can close. That school can shut down. A pandemic can come. And then now, and that's something else I learned through the pandemic, now we really see who the essential workers are.
Yep.
We really see who's essential now.
Yep.
And I've realized how the world really views us as people. And so now, yes, I am a content creator. Yes, I do OnlyFans. I told my mama, I told everybody under the sun who knows me that I do it, because I am doing this. I may not be as big as I want to be right now, but I'm going to get there. And this is going to be my way for me to create my platform, to build myself up, to create a beautiful, loving, money-making machine so that not only I can eat, but other people can eat.
Yeah.
That's really what this is about. Poppy Gio's not out here just having sex on cam because he likes to have sex on cam, which, I mean, I do like to have sex on camera, but there's a bigger mission at hand here. Like, seriously, there's a bigger mission that involves healing, that involves self-love, that involves accepting yourself. And just because I don't have all those things in place for the world to see right now doesn't mean it's not coming.
Exactly.
And that's something else I've learned too. A lot of times we want things, I want things right now, I want it perfect, but everything evolves and grows.
Yes.
Every business started out small. Every business had that first location. Every business had those first 3 locations. If you want to get to 100 locations, you got to get your first 50 first.
Yeah.
So for me, I am in a space of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I'm also at peace with what my life has brought to me.
Yeah.
Because I do have the tools.
Yep.
I have the resources.
Yep.
To move and navigate forward. And I'm not worried. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's thanks to healing, it's thanks to therapy, and it's thanks to conversations like this that I've arrived here, because I've sat with myself and I'm no longer afraid of myself, because I love myself, because I know who I am. And a lot of times we're afraid of things that we don't know.
Yeah. The unknown. You know, what people see, what I realize is, and I've faced this a lot in my life, when you invent, see, this is the problem. When you invent a way to get everything your neighbor has, and you don't have to do what your neighbor did, they get offended. When you invent a way to get your bills paid and still be able to fly around this world on airplanes, and your neighbor can't get approved vacation time or personal time, they have something to say. But what I love about this conversation, and I'm just going to say this, fuck what they all have to say. That's why I keep talking to my babies. And I really talk to all of my content creators, my exclusive content creators, because what they don't want to tell you is that they're all watching. They're all watching. They're all watching. And that's the thing. What people don't understand is that sensuality and sexuality is the bedrock of human existence. Being able to have sex with yourself and with other people, it is the bedrock of humanity. It is how let me tell you something. Sex will regulate the chemicals in your brain.
We gonna talk about that? We gonna go there?
We already
Because I
know.
know a little bit about some chemical imbalances and the dopamine and the oxytocin and how,
Yeah.
yeah, I know a little something about it. Because and I'll say this too, because it's one of the reasons why I've stopped having sex over the past month, because I found that I felt that I was getting addicted
Mm-hmm.
to the good feelings that come after sex. Sex doesn't hurt. Sex feels good. It's an escape. You feel good. You feel good the next day. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? But I also knew that too much, let me just say like this, too much of anything is not a good thing.
Got to be in moderation.
They say you're supposed to drink water. You drink too much water, it's going to be bad for you.
Yep.
So I've learned that I have an opportunity to really shift how I move with my platform, with my content creation. And I'm excited about that shift because it's showing me that this is for me because I'm growing in this space. I'm evolving in this space. Who Poppy Gio was 8 months ago is not who Poppy Gio is today. In fact, 8 months ago, my name wasn't even Poppy Gio. So it's like, I'm happy that I have this space to grow and to evolve and to be myself.
Yeah.
And it's so precious because so many people still in this day and age and where we live in don't have that opportunity.
Right.
And so I'm excited to just continue to grow, continue to build. And it's not about however it looks, it's about how I want it to look and how things just align. Because when you're in alignment, everything just falls into place. And I vowed to myself during the pandemic that I don't care what happens, how bad the world looks, what's happening around me. I'm going to continue to keep this small little mustard seed of hope inside myself that I'm going to be and exist as I want. Yeah. And the more that I move towards that, the more that I do things daily, the small things daily, the more it grows and I'm seeing it really manifest in my life.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I want you to know
Thank
that.
you.
I want you to know that. And I have to say this because I can hear them shouting at me already. You better keep making your content. Don't you shift and change on us because your content is fire. You can change and shift all you want. Just bring all the tools that you bring.
I got you. I definitely I'm not going away from that. I uploaded a few little videos or whatever, but I also know how even in my work that I do, my sex work, the content I create, I know what I want to present now.
Right. Right.
I've evolved sexually. I know who I am much more as a sexual being. And there's certain angles, there's certain aspects of having sex that I want to show. Yeah. There's certain things that I want to do that I haven't done yet. So I mean, definitely might want to follow because I got some stuff on the way. But it's a process, and I'm happy that I've been engaged with this process. And I haven't given up. And that's something that I know you said earlier, which is you don't want to give up. You don't want to quit. You might have your moment, like me, I had my moment, my Britney Spears moment, as I say, where I deleted everything, but coming back bigger and better than ever before. And that's what life is really about.
I am so proud of you. And I am so honored that you sat down and talked to me. And listen, you shocked everybody. From the moment you opened your mouth, you shocked everybody. I knew what I was getting into, but they didn't. But they didn't. And I'm so glad that we were able to do this because this is going to help a lot of people. A lot of people. Do you ever notice how a lot of the content creators are Black?
Mm-hmm.
Notice that? Because literally there are only a few jobs as Black men we can do. Athletics, higher education, sex work, and entertainment. That's it. And sex work and all that, that's under entertainment. So is athleticism. Athleticism. You on them, you playing ball for those people in the stands.
You're entertaining.
But get this, you got a boss. We over here in this section, we ain't got a boss. So do me a favor. Period. So do me a favor. Give me 3 words that inspire and empower you.
3 words that inspire and empower me. Love. Safety. Love, safety, something that inspires me. Truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth and authenticity.
Yeah.
It's yeah, those would be my 3 words I would say.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me. Let me give you your flowers because I have been on a journey, as we all are. But in being a sex worker, a content creator, it's been a challenge to find people that I can connect with on this level to talk about all aspects of just life, sex work in general. So I appreciate you sharing your platform with me, allowing my story to be shared and to be told. And I know that the mission that I came into this for, which was to share my story in hopes that it'll have a positive impact on somebody else. Somebody will be inspired, encouraged. I'm not saying everybody needs to be a sex worker and content creator, OnlyFans person. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm happy to be in a space where I'm encouraging people to live their truth, be yourself, and love yourself above all else.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that. And I'm happy that we've had this conversation. Look forward to working. I'm pretty sure we're going to do bigger and better things together in the future.
Yeah.
And anybody who's listening, watching, I appreciate you as well because you've shared a moment of my life, of my story with me. And I'm just happy to continue to do what I do and ascend higher as high as I'm going to go.
Now tell everybody where they can find you on social media, everywhere.
So on social media, you can find me at Poppy Geo.
Well, I'm sorry.
Poppy Geo.
Keep going.
You said what? So if you want to follow me as a content creator, Poppy Geo, XX. So PAPIGIOXX. If you want to check out my podcast, the Padisi Podcast, you can go to padisipodcast.com or search Padisi Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to check out my other podcast, it's Diary of a Mad Black Man. Diary of a Mad Black Man on Instagram. That's the only platform I use for that one. Other than that, I am here. Like I said, Poppy Geo on Twitter, the Padisi Podcast, and Diary of a Mad Black Man. Type those in Google if you want to really search and connect with me. I'm not hiding. Just find me, and I'm here.
Do you have a link tree?
I have a website.
You do everything through your website?
So I was doing everything through my website. It was Giovanni.com. But I recently rebranded and I'm gonna just do Poppy Geo. So I'm gonna have that website and everything up in the future. Okay. But my name, Poppy Geo, XX, Poppy Geo XX, is not gonna change. Okay. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I have that name and it's not changing. Like that's it. It's gonna be Poppy Geo forever. So if all else fails, type in Poppy Geo XX and I'll pop up.
Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you. I got you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of this great, great creative and strong-minded man, Poppy Geo. Say goodbye to them, but don't hang up.
Bye, guys.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to Cash App me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash App me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to